Well, I was going to record a video, but then somebody stole my chair. Ma'am, what do you have to say for yourself? Mom, I am the video. Hello, beans. Merry Christmas and blessed Yule and happy holidays or whatever you celebrate. I celebrate them all. So, it's been a while. I think the last thing I posted was vending at Moonfest and attending the Ren Fair. And I think the Ren Fair video went up at the end of September or early October, even though the Ren Fair was actually September 10th. So many things have happened in the last 3 months. So the Ren Fair was September 10th, and Monday, September 12th, I got fired. It was amazing. As in, it was not amazing at all. But it's not like I wanted to stay at that job for a really long time, but I was kind of enjoying what I was doing. And it was completely out of the blue. No warning at all. Which was fun. As in, it was not fun at all. So yeah. Commence almost 3 months of very little income / so much free time. So that was fun. I did get a job almost right away, but the job didn't start until December. So end of September, I had an interview and was accepted for this job, but the job didn't start until end of November, right after Thanksgiving, that last week into December. So yeah, that was nice, but it took a while for the job to happen. So I had a lot of free time to do things. I finished up those last videos and I made a ton of videos for my gaming channel because I hadn't started working on a gaming channel until about September. And then suddenly I had so much time to make gaming videos. So I made some of those, which was fun. And then I was sick most of October. Also super fun. But I went to Virginia to visit family and things happened. I've been busy. I've been really busy for not having a job. Because also I ended up getting like a bunch of random part-time jobs or like temporary jobs or side jobs. I ended up with 2 house cleaning clients out of the blue and also started filling hours for a local coffee shop. I had applied at this coffee shop and they didn't hire me because neither me nor they were sure that I could handle like the really early hours or anything like that because of my health conditions. But then a couple weeks after that interview, when they were like, never mind, we're not gonna hire you, then they started texting me and just were like, hey, can you come just work for a couple hours? So I ended up working like half a dozen times for them, just randomly filling hours, which is really fun because I've always wanted to work in a coffee shop and I've known these people since like before they opened the coffee shop. So I've known them for like 3-4 years, which is why I wanted to work there, but I couldn't commit to the schedule they needed, but I started just working a couple hours here and there, like helping them on weekends and stuff like that, and it's really fun. I really enjoy it. So I did have a little bit of income, which was nice. Yeah. But now I started my other job, which I'm working in a tax office. I'm not doing taxes, because if I do taxes, we will all go to jail. I'm like, I don't touch nobody's taxes. I barely touch my own. So I'm like a office manager, like team lead, kind of just helping I help the people who do the taxes. I like help keep things organized so that they can do their job. And I'm really excited about it. The more I've gotten into the training and stuff, then I've always wanted an office job, and this is the first like non-retail, non-fast food job I've had. And I've always thought that I would love an office job, like secretary or something like that, but I didn't have any experience to get a job like that. So, but now that I'm getting into the training and I'm seeing kind of how this job is going to work, I'm really excited. It's only for the tax season, so it ends in April, at the end of April, but like hopefully I'll get rehired like every year and just work, 4 months out of the year in a tax office. I probably won't be making videos very much at all until after April. I might do some here and there, and I have a couple videos that are kind of pre-filmed that I filmed way back in the summer, in like July, that I haven't posted. They weren't like time sensitive videos, so I've kind of kept them for like emergency filler. So I might pepper those in like February or something, just so that my channel's not dead for 4 months. Probably 5, counting, filming and editing in May. But I am definitely planning to continue making videos once I have the time again next summer. And I tend to make things and have a lot more creativity and inspiration in the summertime, which is perfect. I'm like, I'll work in the winter, and then as soon as like spring, summer hits, when I want to do stuff, I'll have like all the time in the world. So yeah, next summer I'm definitely going to prioritize both of my channels. But so that's what's happening. It's interesting because looking back, 2022 I feel like has actually been like the best year of my adult life, which is really cool because I didn't realize that's what was happening throughout the year. But a couple weeks ago I started kind of doing a little bit of self-reflection and review and just thinking about how this year went, and there was a lot of really not cool things that happened. But when I look back on this year, I remember all of the amazing things that happened that were kind of things that I've always wanted to be a part of my life, and this year I made them happen. So, like the job I got fired from, I really enjoyed it and it met my needs physically, financially. I was learning to do more things and new things that I really liked, but I was actually extremely bored. And so I would come home, and I worked like 5 days a week there. It wasn't full-time, but I worked 5 days a week. And so I would come home and I was so bored from not being fulfilled in that job, even though I liked it and it wasn't hard. I would come home and I wanted to make things and I wanted to do creative things because I needed that fulfillment. And so it was a blessing to have a job that, first off, it was such a good job when it came to my health conditions, and then also it's the best financial job I've ever had. But because I wasn't feeling fulfilled in what I was doing there, then I would come home and I had to fill my creative need at home. I started sewing, I started crafting more. That's when I started my YouTube channel. I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel. That was one of the things that I really wanted to do. And in like May, June, I was just like, this is gonna happen. So that was a really interesting environment. And like I said, in the summer, like around March, April, I kind of had a bit of a depressive episode because I wasn't creating and I felt extremely unfulfilled in my life in general. And for a good 2 weeks, I spiraled pretty bad into feeling like life is meaningless and I'm not doing anything worthwhile. I'm not doing anything that is gonna, mean anything. And I realized that I was like craving creation. And I remember, I don't know exactly when it was, but I know it was like the end of March, beginning of April. I went into my studio and I just cleaned up because it was a mess. I couldn't really work in there. I cleaned up as much as I could, and I like did a little bit of sewing. It wasn't even like a big project. I just kind of finished up a couple things that weren't quite done. I just wanted to get them out of the way. And it was like as soon as I was running my sewing machine, all of that kind of depression and just feeling feeling trapped and feeling like I wasn't doing anything with my life, like as soon as I was running my sewing machine, it was gone. And at the end of the day and the next day, like night and day difference. I was like, life is great again. And so that really started me on that, like, I need to be making things right now. I have the time and energy to, because I have a job that's not exhausting me. I have the energy to be bored because I'm not expending that energy on a job that's killing me. So that started me into just creating all summer. And then I went into the YouTube and everything like that. So that's what really showed me that I think summer is when I'm at my most creative. And it was very interesting because in September, one of the things I wanted to do pretty much as soon as I got fired, like I had so many videos planned for the fall, like within a week or two of, like a week of getting fired, I had videos planned for both channels, either every week or every other week through the end of the year. None of those videos happened on the main channel. None of them. And I think like maybe 3 or 4 happened on the gaming channel. But what I realized, because I started to film a daily or weekly vlog at the end of September, because that was one of the ideas that I had. I wanted to do kind of like a week of my life, or at least like a day of my life, sort of. And I started filming that, and about halfway, like the first day was like Monday was good, and then Tuesday was just, I felt like I didn't know what I was doing, but I also felt I didn't have the energy, and I didn't have the motivation, I didn't have the clarity of the inspiration that I had had for all my projects all summer. And I realized that the week that I was trying to do that vlog was the week after the autumn equinox. The previous Thursday had been the autumn equinox. And like a light switch, all of that driving energy that I was just burning to create and make things, it was gone. And I didn't feel bad. I was just like, I don't want to do all of this stuff anymore. And then looking back, I realized that in March, when I had that kind of depressive episode, was right around the spring equinox. And so I'm like, okay, literally in the bright half of the year, from the spring equinox to the autumn equinox, I will create everything under the sun that I can get my hands on. And then after the autumn equinox, in the winter, I will just rest and make things here and there, but not have that driving need to just do everything that I can possibly conceive. So that was a very interesting perspective, to realize that my creativity and my body and my mind was seen. This is the first year and the first cycle that I've noticed it, so I'm very curious to see if it'll happen again in the spring. I hope it will, because once that tax season job is done at the end of April, I'll have all the time in the world all summer to make things and do what I want while I'm at that peak productivity and creation level. So I'm very excited to see that happen, and I'm kind of counting on it. If it doesn't happen, I'm going to be like, hold on a second, there was a pattern. I saw a pattern. So I'm really excited to see that happen again. But also it makes sense in the bright half of the year, when the universe is kind of giving more energy, and that's the time when the earth is growing and everything, that's when I would feel that height of inspiration and creativity. And then in the dark half of the year, when the earth and the universe is resting, and it's a cyclical time of death, to not have as much energy and just be like, I just want to rest. I don't want to do so much. I want to just take life a little slower. So I'm really hoping that that's a cycle that will continue, because I can work with that. If I know what the pattern is, I can work with it. So that's why I ended up doing so many things this summer. I was creating so many things. I was doing the YouTube channel. I did vending for the first time at Moonfest, and I went to my first Ren Fair. I went to a lot of festivals and like street markets this year, which was so fun. I love those. I love festivals. I love fairs. I love anything like that. And I went to so many this year, more than I've ever gone to in one year before. And it was so fun. To almost every week, every other week, be going somewhere on the weekends in that sort of late summer, early autumn period. It was amazing and I loved it. So looking back, I did a lot of things and I made things happen in my life that I had always wanted to be a part of my life. But previously, I either didn't have the energy or the resources to make it happen. And so, even though, like I said, there was plenty of garbage that happened this past year, I had trouble walking most of August. I mean, you guys saw my Realm Makers video. Obviously, Realm Makers was amazing, but personally and within my immediate friend group, then we had some struggles, and it was a little bit disappointing personally. And after Realm Makers, then almost all of August, then I think for about 3 to 4 weeks, I could not walk without pain because I just had that deep chronic ache that I get in my legs. And then even after the pain went away, then it was a week or two before I didn't have any more of that overwhelming fatigue. So most of August, I could barely walk. And then I got fired in September. And I was sick in other ways in October, because why not? And, like, there was plenty of things that happened that weren't great. Because, you know, life is balanced. There's never going to be, you know, all good or all bad at the same time. But when I look back, I don't see those things. I don't, unless I really try to bullet point the worst times. I just remember creating all summer. I remember discovering how to make videos and how to edit. And I remember when I learned how to edit videos, I was like addicted to editing. I seriously love it. Like, I love filming. I love uploading. I love creating the content. But I think one of my favorite, like the favorite part of content creation for me is editing. I have so much fun with that. I remember that. I remember going to these festivals. I remember my friend group and we were just doing things. It was the first year that we had a house. The three of them live together now, and then obviously I go visit them all the time because they live in the same town. And so this is the first full year that we had a house instead of having to constantly like meet at each other's parents' houses or hang out at restaurants or whatever like that. We had a home base, and that made such a difference in the things we did socially, the activities we were able to do, and all of our like mental health as well. So when I look back on this year, I see that I was able to work closer to creating the life I want to have. And I remember one of the things that I did all summer when I was starting YouTube, when I was creating, when I wanted to do vending. Whenever I thought of doing something and my anxiety would flare up and one of my immediate responses was fear or hesitation, I got in the habit of making myself do things that triggered my anxiety. I would seriously evaluate whether I was just having a automatic anxiety fear reaction or if I was honestly like, I don't think this is right for me. And a couple times it was pretty obvious that I'm like, okay, I don't think this is the right thing for me right now. But usually in those situations my reaction wasn't fear, it was just, I don't think I can handle this right now on top of everything else. The scheduling didn't work out or whatever. It was very kind of logical, like, that's not right now. But if I had a reaction to something that I thought of or an opportunity and my immediate reaction was just fear or anxiety for no reason, I made myself do it. I did that with so many things. I don't even remember a lot of specific things, but I had it a lot with YouTube videos. I had it with vending and a couple other things. But if my reaction was just anxiety and fear for no reason, I made myself do it. And I stopped having as much of a anxious reaction to new things as much as I had that excitement. It was like I rewired my brain to be excited instead of anxious over things that I wanted to do. And that mentality and that perspective, looking back, built a portion and the beginning of the life I've always wanted to have, which is doing every creative thing I can get my hands on. I have both my YouTube channels right now. I did vending multiple times this year and I loved it and I want to do it more. I want to revamp my Etsy shop and work on putting the things that I made for vending, but also offering them online, and just living adventures, like going to the fairs and going and doing things. I love to just have adventures all the time and not do the same thing, and go be around different people and experience different things, and just really live in the moment and make that magic happen, or seek it out and find where those magical things are happening and be a part of them. That's the type of life I want to have. And I started doing that this year. Not necessarily on purpose, but looking back, I see all of those things that built together, and I'm left with this feeling of this was the best year of my life so far. And so obviously I'm very excited for next year, because I'm like, let's do it again. Can we do it again? Can we do it more? So, especially with this new job, anticipating not having a job after April instead of it just being gone like it was in September, I'm able to plan ahead more when it comes to finances and stuff, to make sure that I can go all summer without having a regular income, and then hopefully getting either a different job or get rehired in the fall for the next tax season. Like, I can plan for that instead of just being thrown into, I have a job now. And then the timing of it being in summer, where hopefully I will be able to use that, and knowing how I work now, knowing that it is the best time for me to do everything that I want to, and knowing that I have the time, I have the resources, I have the ability, I have the energy to do that. I need to take advantage of it for like those 6 months. And being okay with kind of that falling off in the fall and resting, but being able to turn around and look and see all the things I accomplished, or even set things up so that I do the bulk of the work in the summer, but then kind of set myself up to do things in the fall that still allow me to rest and take life a little bit slower. So that's where I am right now, and I'm really excited for next year, actually. I feel like I've always been waiting for the life I wanted to happen, and that's not how life works. You have to build the type of life you want to have. You have to make it happen. You have to make those decisions, and those decisions build. Each moment might not seem related, but when you make those decisions with that future in mind, then you look back and realize that you've started to build what you want to have. And that's what happened this year, kind of unintentionally. But it worked, and now that I know it works, I'm gonna do it even more. So yeah, that's where I am, and I'm really excited. I just wanted to give you guys an update, because I know it's been a really long time since I posted, and I really miss making videos. Like I said, I just didn't have as much energy and drive, and also I ended up not feeling well, and other things were happening. But I'm really excited for next year. I keep saying that because that's where I'm at. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful Christmas, a wonderful holiday season, whatever you celebrate, whatever you believe in or not. I hope you have a wonderful new year. I hope that you have goals, and you have vision, and you have direction. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be overwhelming. 2022 didn't have to be the best year of your life. There's people that are close to me that it was a really bad year for them, even though my circle and their circle overlapped a lot. You don't have to have such a big overarching inspiration and drive, but I hope that you have a vision. I hope you have a direction, and I hope that you don't just let the new year come and it just be the same old thing. It is very cliche to have New Year's resolutions and stuff. I don't really do New Year's resolutions, but I do believe that it's a wonderful time to reevaluate and get a vision and get a direction, even if it's not super detailed, even if it's not massive. Just pinpoint something in your life that you want. Pinpoint something that you want to achieve, that you want to work toward. And just map out a couple steps that you can take, even if you take it really slow. Just map out a couple things that you can do this year and work toward it. And at the end of next year, when you look back, like, you can be proud of yourself that you did something that you wanted. Not always things that you need, but I think it's so important to prioritize the things that we want and the things that are you know, our calling and what we're meant to do. So I hope you have a very Merry Christmas, blessed Yule, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year, and thank you for watching. I dearly miss you guys, but here's to plans and inspiration and just life being good. Even if it's not amazing and perfect, there's always good moments. Even if you're going through a hard time, there are good moments. And I hope and I pray that you find those if you're in a rough period. I know many people close to me in this season are having a very hard time right now. There are some people I know who have lost very dear people to them, and I know that's hard any time of year, but this time of year when you experience loss or grief, it hits so much harder. And unfortunately that's how life works. But there's always good moments to find. Even if they're small, they are there. Nothing's ever totally good or totally bad. There's always at least a little bit of a mix. So I guess that's all. I was just rambling. I was gonna make myself a script and notes, and then I didn't. So I think I did okay. I've done worse. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along my journey. Hopefully this journey will make a lot of progress next year. I'm very excited. So anyway, remember that you're a beautiful creature, and I love you. Bye. I did a lot of things that I've always wanted to. I'm gonna sneeze. I say that and then I'm not gonna sneeze. It's right here. It's on this side. It's right there.